The rain had been falling for hours, turning the empty highway into a blur of silver and broken reflections. Officer Daniel Reed gripped the steering wheel with knuckles white as chalk, ignoring the sharp pain ripping through his chest. He had been on duty for 14 straight hours, responding to a call in one of the most remote parts of the county. He told himself it was just exhaustion, just stress, just another shift, but it wasn't. By the time he realized something was seriously wrong, the world around him had already begun to tilt. His breathing tightened. His pulse thundered unevenly. And then, right there in the middle of the deserted road, Daniel's patrol car drifted onto the shoulder and rolled to a stop, the engine ticking softly in the rain. He tried to call for help, but the radio crackled uselessly. This stretch of highway had notorious dead zones. He tried stepping outside for air, but the moment he opened the door, his legs buckled. He collapsed on the wet asphalt, soaked, shivering, and desperately fighting to remain conscious. His vision blurred into doubles. His heartbeat slowed. He was dying. Alone. And before the story goes deeper, if powerful, real-life stories like this touch your heart, please take a moment right now. Like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Valley. Your support helps us continue telling emotional and meaningful stories. Cars rarely pass through here at this hour, and the few that did usually sped through without ever noticing the shoulder. But just when the darkness behind Daniel's eyes began to spread, headlights appeared in the distance, bright, slow-moving, steady. The engine's deep growl vibrated through the road long before the motorcycle came into view. A lone biker, leather jacket, heavy boots, the kind of figure most people avoided on the street. The kind of man society whispered warnings about. The stranger drove past for a few seconds before he suddenly braked hard. He turned back, pulled over, and climbed off the motorcycle. His boots splashed through puddles as he approached the fallen officer, his eyes narrowing with concern, not fear. "Hey, can you hear me?" the biker shouted, kneeling beside Daniel. Daniel tried to speak, but managed only a faint gasp. The biker, noticing the badge, looked momentarily stunned. A police officer, alone, collapsed, dying. Most people would panic. Some would walk away. Others would be too scared to get involved. But the stranger didn't hesitate. He grabbed Daniel under the arms and dragged him carefully toward his bike, away from the rain pooling beneath him. He unzipped his own leather jacket and placed it under Daniel's head to keep it elevated. As Daniel's eyes fluttered, the biker tapped his cheek urgently. "Hey, stay with me. I've got you. I'm not going anywhere." He lifted his phone high into the air, searching desperately for even a sliver of signal. Nothing. He cursed under his breath, then looked down at Daniel again, panic rising in his voice. "Come on, man, don't do this. Not here." Then he made a decision. A bold, risky, unthinkable decision. He picked Daniel up, this man he'd never met, a man society would have assumed he hated, a man wearing a badge, and carried him like he weighed nothing. He placed him on the back of his motorcycle, securing him carefully with one arm while controlling the handlebars with the other. It was insane. It was dangerous. It was the only chance Daniel had. The biker tore down the highway, roaring through the rain-soaked darkness. Every bump, every turn, every gust of wind felt like a battle against time. Daniel drifted in and out of consciousness, hearing only fragments. The engine, the storm, and the stranger's voice promising, "You're not dying on my watch." Minutes felt like hours. The biker pushed harder, faster, until finally, he reached an area with cell towers. He skidded to a stop in front of a gas station, nearly dropping the bike, and screamed for help. Within moments, people rushed out. Someone called 911. Someone brought blankets. And through it all, the stranger held Daniel's hand, refusing to let go. When paramedics arrived, they recognized the biker immediately. He was known around town, but not in the polite, friendly way. People whispered stories about him. Troublemaker, outlaw, one of those men who lived on the edge. But as they loaded Daniel into the ambulance, the biker stepped forward. "Save him," he said quietly. "Please." Hours later, in the hospital, Daniel woke up. The first thing he saw wasn't a doctor or a nurse. It was the biker sitting beside him, arms crossed, trying to look uninterested but failing miserably. "You okay, officer?" he asked. Daniel tried to speak, but emotion caught in his throat. He simply nodded. "You saved my life," he whispered eventually. The biker shrugged. "Man's dying on the road. Doesn't matter if he's a cop or a criminal. Life's life." Daniel smiled weakly. "What's your name?" The biker hesitated, then said softly, "Call me Jack." In the days that followed, word spread. Not because Jack told anyone, but because Daniel did. He told the world that the man who saved his life wasn't a fellow officer, wasn't a passing motorist, wasn't anyone society would have expected. He was a stranger, someone people misunderstood, someone who made a choice no one saw coming. And that choice didn't just save one life, it changed two. Daniel recovered fully. And the last person he expected to see at his retirement ceremony was Jack, standing awkwardly in the back of the room, arms folded, trying to look invisible. Daniel walked straight toward him and pulled him into a tight hug. Tears filled Jack's eyes as he whispered, "Didn't do it for a medal, man." "I know," Daniel said. "You did it because you have a good heart, and that's worth more than any badge." And the room fell silent as the retired officer and the outlaw stood together. A reminder that humanity isn't defined by appearance, background, or reputation. It's defined by choice. And Jack's choice was unforgettable.